on. Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here with me always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at our health, our well-being via the tarot, astrology, some Ayurveda, and any channeled messages that come through for the week or whenever you find this reading. So let's get into it. Welcome, welcome. We are in the new year. Very exciting. And what I'll say astrologically so far is like transits have been pretty quiet. There hasn't been a lot going on in the astrology. It's nice. It's also welcomed. Things are kind of reshuffling from the end of last year into new year, right? So we have this opportunity to kind of reset, rebalance, restore, etc. This is often given to us after the holidays, i.e. why there's not a lot going on astrologically, and where we're finding some of the tension, some of the frustration is definitely in areas that we just don't want to be pressed too hard, right? Like this is places that we know what we need to do, but we're resisting the change. We're resisting doing things differently, taking a different approach, seeing it from a different perspective, etc. Because Jupiter is in retrograde. It's still in retrograde throughout the month. Jupiter represents our fortune, our abundance, the way we manifest our wealth. And it's in Cancer, which is all about those comfy, cozy feelings, those things that just make us feel happy, make us feel complacent, like home, etc. Like we don't really have to work that hard, or maybe we just don't want to, right? It's almost kind of buying into the comfort of what is versus trying to do a little bit of the work to empower ourselves and overcome, which we'll kind of get into as we are doing the reading. But this is focused on our health, our well-being. And even when we're I'm a huge proponent of nourishing, supporting, validating yourself in the places that they definitely need to be. But we also want to make sure that we're not giving ourselves a hall pass or ending up becoming our own worst enemy, right? By that stagnancy, by that inability to kind of challenge ourselves to overcome some of the obstacles, limitations that come in front of us. And a lot of that is connected back to our health, our wellness, our well-being, the way that we're treating ourselves on a day-to-day basis, right? Like if we're actually doing that nurturing and support, or if we're just maybe not paying attention to ourselves, paying attention to what our intuition, our instincts are telling us. Or again, we don't want to have to work too hard. We don't want to have to look at things too deep. It's definitely a sign of the times. January is always a little bit of a quiet month, especially after the holiday season, all the to-dos, all the people, all the dynamics we have to deal with, etc. So it's definitely nice to take a break, and I would never say to not do so. I think it's really important right now to be moving a little bit slower with our decision making. We're in Capricorn season, which is Earth energy, and Earth energy just naturally moves a little bit slower, i.e., why it's important to process through what we're dealing with so we have a better gauge on how to move forward. It's also why I like to start off these readings with an energy cleansing, just to set the tone, set the vibe, cleanse out those places where we might feel blocked, limited, etc. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. We're live, obviously, and Spirit speaks to us in so many different ways. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing, wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are just looking for more of that rebalance of self, your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're grounded in self, like I was saying before, that's really where we're manifesting our best life, our happiness, our fulfillment, our bliss, etc. Because we're connected with ourselves, because we know our wants and needs at any given moment. And I would love to help support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so that I may see and understand messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right, so I'm picking up this energy of like you feeling a little bit uncomfortable with how things or where things are at, because I'm picking up this energy of like trying to move through it, trying to get through things quickly, find an answer, find a solution so it doesn't feel so uncomfortable. But that energy, like, in terms of health and well-being, I'm feeling like it's actually taking a toll on your body, mind, soul. Like you might be pushing yourself a little bit too hard, which is counterintuitive to what we're seeing in the astrology, like I was pointing out in the very beginning. The astrology talks about how, we got to go slow. We got to take our time. We have to be conscious, be mindful. That's what slowing down means. It's not just, it's checking in with ourselves. It's processing what's going on within our mental, emotional, physical world. It's recognizing it and then processing it so we can better understand it, so we can have awareness. And that is something Ayurveda really talks about. Like that's kind of the only thing that really helps us overcome some of the challenges that we face, right? Like if we don't know, if we don't understand, then how are we going to do anything about it? Type vibe. Hey, Karen. Good to see you here. Thank you so much for your kind words always. I super appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate the love and support. I'm trying to get better. I've had kind of like a couple of bumps along the road, which is a little annoying because I am the person, maybe this reading is for me, but like I am the person that likes to just keep plugging along and pushing through. And there has definitely been something about the energy over the past couple weeks, even during the holiday season, where we need to slow down a little bit. Okay, so Panther is our overarching energy, strength and power. How do we cultivate that strength and power? It doesn't happen when we're expending all of our resources, right? And health and well-being, in my opinion, is the platform that allows us to thrive. If we're depleted, if we're disconnected, then how are we going to manifest our best life, right? And I'm not trying to be a cheeseball about it. I'm a huge proponent of like attracts like. Quantum physics has proven this. When we're projecting a certain energy, that's the energy that we're going to magnetize to us. That's the energy that we're going to give back. And we've kind of seen this over the past week, cultivating our resources, finding our empowerment and our strength, which I think is really appropriate right now, but it might not be coming through the avenues that we're expecting, anticipating. And if anything, it seems like we are in this mode where it's good to rest and restore. In Ayurveda, this is Kapha energy. Kapha energy builds strength, stability, cohesion, which is very much connected to this kudzu energy. This is actually a thickener in the culinary arts. It's a alternative to gelatin if you are vegan, vegetarian, or, interested in using other products. But kudzu in this deck talks about abundant growth and willpower. So very much attached to this panther energy. It's also a 30, which breaks down to a 3, connecting back to like people that we collaborate with, that we come into connection with, that actually, when we're seeing reciprocity, equal give and take, or people are giving to us, we're giving to them, that's where we find abundant growth. And it's also where we are able to tap into that willpower because we feel supported to do so, right? And we all know places that people have not supported us or tried to talk down to us, keep us small, keep us limited, etc., and what kind of results that brings. So when it comes to your well-being this week, it's about building strength. Okay, this card has been coming up for us a lot. Abandoned plantation, dismantling ugly truths. These are things that like we don't really want to look at. And I think if what I'm hearing is like, if anything, these are the things that can keep us separate from our strength, from our willpower, the things that make us feel less than, or the lies, etc., that we end up believing about ourselves, or the places we might fall into lack of worth, lack of value, depression, anxiety, fear, this inability to kind of take care of ourselves, our well-being, etc., which is so normal. It happens, especially when, or if you're in a dynamic where there is a lot of repression, or you have people around you who are just not on your team, right? And like we all have people, situations like that. Ayurveda looks at those dynamics like they're the catalyst to help us grow, which I know it's annoying because when we're in it, it feels unfair. It feels like it shouldn't necessarily be what we have to go through, etc. But it's also the thing that's helping us move past some of these limitations. And I feel like we've gotten this energy. A possum symbolizes diversity, options, multiple options, etc., that we can tap into. I think it's been kind of hard to do that, is what I'm hearing. Getting out of the comfort zone, like I talked about in the very beginning. We don't have a lot of tension in the astrology, but ironically or not, where we're finding the tension is in those places that like we're too comfortable, or again, like it's that value of just like wishing whatever we wanted was delivered to our front porch, right? The instant gratification, the Amazon package, whatever, 2-day shipping, whatever it may be for you. And it's not manifesting in that way right now. If anything, unfortunately or not, but we're being forced to kind of reconnect with our strength and stability in the face of people, places, and things that don't want that for us, or that are actively trying to move in a way that's getting us to think otherwise, right? And our blocked energy for the week is the Grove, divinity, awe. It's our inability to connect with like Well, I'm hearing this as like new things. So the opossum invites us into diversity, approaching not current dynamics, but looking for new dynamics, looking for a switch up, a change of pace. And I'm not saying it in this way that you have to let go of whatever you have going on, right? Like you're going to know when you need to be done with something, when it's run its course, and when it hasn't. That's not what I'm about suggesting on this channel, right? Like everybody has, excuse me, all relationships, all dynamics have their ups and downs. This is about getting you to kind of look beyond your current limitations. And it does signify Seven of Cups, the Page of Wands, like getting out of what feels comfortable. This is part of building that strength. And on a physical level, that can just even be like going out and practicing, right? Like getting your body healthy, finding consistency. I think that's a huge theme right now is consistency, consistently implementing the things that we want to get better at, that we want to be stronger on a day-to-day basis, whether that is our mental, emotional, physical. Beginning of the year always gives us an opportunity to kind of look and see what's working and what's not in our life, and how we can make changes and adjustments so we're not just falling into the same habits and patterns over and over again. And right now that is a little bit tempting, or it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. And I feel like this has definitely been a theme in our readings. We have Ace of Air, Ace of Swords. It's connected to Yarrow, which is about wound healing. When we take time to heal the wounds, to be aware, to acknowledge, to find grounding, to find strength and stability within ourselves, it does help us to overcome. It helps us to not stay so limited behind the things that are really trying to limit us. All right, let's look at this a little bit deeper. So there's clarity in your environment. And I like this, you coming in as the Madra of Water, oats. This is a really, oats are very good for the feminine reproductive system. They're very nurturing, very supportive. They also kind of create that strength, that stability that I was talking about earlier with this kudzu. So again, emphasis on how you're supporting yourself throughout this week. Whether it is on the physical, mental, emotional, you can be changing up your diet plan, starting a new workout routine, maybe even implementing some type of inspirational time by yourself, journaling, reading something that's like healing for your soul, etc. on a daily basis. Finding strength in areas that maybe have felt a little bit weak. And it looks like whatever you're dealing with is, I want to say recognizing that for you, or recognizing that that's what you're doing. You're keeping your options close to you. It looks like you haven't really been getting out of your own comfort zone lately, not good, bad, right, or wrong. I feel like this has maybe kept some of your options limited. But willow is also a symbolization, or willow is also a symbol, or why can't I pronounce this? Symbolism. Sorry, I don't even know what but it does talk about our strength, right? It's even in the way that this basket is being woven. It's something that is giving us the solidarity and the support. And that, I think it's good for you, right? This definitely seems to be a theme of what you are building within yourself this week. But at the same time, maybe some of it's to your detriment. I would say just being overly protective of your energy. Again, not to throw shade to it, because there's a reason why. There's a reason why you are being self-protective. And honestly, when I'm looking at your health and well-being, it's important to make sure that you are giving to yourself first. The places that I think maybe it can be a little bit of a rub or, you know, not being fair to you is in this way of like almost being too calculated or too trapped in the fear and the thoughts that if I do this, it's going to come back and bite me in the butt. Maybe, but also you've kind of been through it before. So again, whatever you has brought you to this point, you're continuing to grow in your solidarity. So basically meaning, even if you are afraid of something, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go south or it's going to go bad, because you've kind of done some of the work to date. And if anything, I think you've done more for yourself than what you can even acknowledge or what you even like understand. And some of that is things that we only find out when we are challenged, when we're challenged and we see how far we've come. It does look like you've come far because you're honoring yourself, you're honoring your intuition, you're honoring what spirit is communicating to you, whatever that looks like for you, prayer, spirit, universe, God, whatever religion you ascribe to, etc. It's like in those quiet moments, that's where you're receiving the inspiration. That's where you're receiving the guidance, the direction on how to sustain yourself, on how to build that strength, on how to build that power. Because I do feel like when comes time to execute whatever this panther is, it is going to require that strength and solidarity. And if you're a little willy-nilly all over the place, which it doesn't really look like you are, but if perhaps you are, then it could end up putting you back into this space that you don't really want to be. A lot of why there's delays is because it is dismantling ugly truths. We'll look at this a little bit deeper. Let me pull a clarification on this. Keep moving along. Okay, the world. The world. Bringing closure. We've talked about this. Actually, 2026 in numerology breaks down to a 10-year. So it is cycle closure. It is that value that I was talking about end of last year, tying up loose ends. Yes, not everything is going to be neat and tidy in this package right now, or that we want to be, because it does look like there is some things that we are still working on. And honestly, we gotta dismantle some of this heaviness in order to connect with the goodness, right? Like this feels like that energy of cleaning house. We get out the toxins, the things that are weighing us down. Ayurveda is huge into this. The number one thing you can do for yourself is eliminate causative factors. When we eliminate causative factors, that's taking a whole, whatever out of the equation, whether it's toxicity, negativity, something that's harmful for your mental, your physical, emotional. It's completely wiping that out of the equation. So then your body, mind, soul can do what it needs to do, right? Rebalance, recalibrate, rest, restore, which in your environment, that's what's coming out of this. Something is recognizing the movements that you make. And you know this. I think you're not getting a lot of feedback this week. That's kind of what I see. I think a lot of what you're dealing with on a superficial level is more about your own stuff. spending time with yourself, recognizing, understanding what this abandoned plantation represents for you, places that you might be feeling a little bit down and out about some of the cycles or people, situations that are closing out in your life. Also, there's opportunity to diversify, which I think is important. It might not be as important beginning of the week, but tail end, yeah, like maybe choosing some new things, getting involved with new people, new inspiration. This grove is being blocked. So feeling inspired by life. It's not always easy to do when we come from difficult dynamic situations. People that we might feel are not on our side, are not on our team, maybe even a little bit against us. The grove reminds us that there's always magic to life. There's always things that we can be inspired by. And if we're staying stuck in our own tiny little world, this Four of Pentacles, then that's really all we're going to see, right? We're not necessarily going to see the beauty, the diversity. It might feel like a lot. I'm hearing baby steps because there are things that are wrapping up around this old cycle that, again, I feel like is mainly where your strength is required. So building strength for these things that, you know, are coming to head, yes, on some level. Things that you need to make peace with within yourself, temperance energy. Not always the easiest, because it means we have to let go of our pride and our ego to some capacity. And in the astrology, that's been very tensely aspected. It's been like our ego, pride, our abundance, and then how we're going to heal. And so if we're getting rubbed the wrong way, or, you know, if it seems like it's just too much work, not worth the time, the effort, which, yeah, maybe on some level there are things here that feel that way. But you're going to know, or you already do know. I feel like a lot of this is a choice. We've been talking about this a lot, of where you're going to continue to invest your energy. Something is trying to hold on. And for you, I love this Ace of Cups, plantain. It's an opportunity to heal. It's an opportunity to heal and grow. Plantain is also a really good wound healer. It has it's an antimicrobial. It has a lot of really beautiful healing properties. Definitely check it out if you're interested. But this is like healing you on that mental, emotional end, which it looks like that's kind of a lot of what's playing off of you. It might not, yes, it might be affecting your physical, just in terms of like your energy, what you're able to do, what this actually feels like, especially if you do have a situation dynamic that's challenging you in a way that's bringing you back to old thoughts, old habits, old patterns. Something that you, yes, need to acknowledge, but don't necessarily need to get involved in, right? It's a fixer-upper. It's something that, like, and in the way that I'm not really sure that's like where you want to invest your time and energy, is how it comes through. Yeah, Tulsi. I love Tulsi. It's awakening, it's judgment in this deck. So it's the wake-up call. It's judgment really signifies when we have to be honest with ourselves, when there's no other options but to be. Tulsi, in and of itself, is a really beautiful herb. It's very sattvic in Ayurveda, which talks about purity. It's a tea, it's fabulous. I love it. It's one of my favorites. but it also connects us to our spiritual, to that third eye, crown chakra, opening up this type of spiritual awakening if we're open and available to do so. Tulsi is also very good at attracting wealth and abundance. Excuse me. Okay, we've got Hydra of Earth, Page of Earth, Page of Fire. There's options coming into, but it does kind of mean that you need to get out of your own space. And this, again, can also be for your physical health, well-being. Maybe you need to get a second opinion. Maybe you need to go search out new information. People that, yes, I mean, I think you can trust whomever, whatever you're dealing with, but it's also about trusting your instincts, right? Damia can be connected to people that, or situations that choose a more low vibey way to manage energy, i.e. manipulation, trying to get you to buy into whatever they're selling. You're going to know what this is, though, because I feel like this is something that's convincing you or trying to convince you, trying to force their own agenda, which I feel like you're very well aware of. This person even could be into ritual magic. If that's your vibe, don't pick it up if it's not. But it does kind of look like there's a wake-up call that's coming for you. Not necessarily bad, but also why you need to just be balanced, temperance energy in your approach right now. Yeah, with the Empress. I love this. This is reminding you again, it's confirming these first messages that we saw, that you do have the strength. You do have the strength, you have the stability, you have the endurance. Again, that is going to be best cultivated through how you invest in yourself right now. Because we are kind of in this weird loose ends, tying things up period of life. It's forcing us to be stable in what we think and what we feel and how we're processing through situations, people, dynamics, etc. Okay, so we get Marshmallow, which is all about, actually, ironically, this is very healing for Kapha energy. So the downside of Kapha in Ayurveda is it can end up clogging our channels, right? If we're too stagnant, if we're ingesting things that are creating mucus, blockages, etc., that's where it can actually be to our detriment, right? Because it's almost encouraging us to move too slowly, not do anything, buy into the depression, the sadness, etc. And Marshmallow is all about breaking that up. It really helps for inflammation, and especially when it comes to our throat chakra. If we have inabilities to kind of communicate, speak our truth, etc., it also acts on the digestive system, so that helping us process through, right? What I love about Marshmallow, like I said, it has those Kapha effects. It allows us to build in strength and stability, but also while being able to process through and to kind of cleanse out the toxicity or what's not necessarily good for us, right? And a lot of this is related to our respiratory system, which in Ayurveda does kind of deal with how we're communicating, how we're expressing our truth. It's also connected to prana, or the life force within us all. We breathe in prana, and that is what nourishes every cell in the deepest layer. And if we're not getting prana, that nourishment, that vital life force, then it is going to bring difficulty, right? It's going to bring this blockage. It's going to create harm and vitiation within our body, whether that's physical, mental, emotional. And marshmallow root can be used as a tea. It's also, obviously, these are just suggestions, educational purposes. Always check with your doctor what is highest and best for you. But marshmallow root can definitely kind of break up some of that congestion, some of that stagnancy we're feeling. I love this. Plantain pops up again. It's called the soldier's herb. It's a very effective remedy for cuts, scrapes, burns, skin issues, etc. And it's also really good for plant or respiratory medicine as well. So kind of confirming that support that we're seeing within the marshmallow root or even in the kapha, right? We just want to make sure that things aren't getting too congested is what I'm hearing. So it's really this fine balance between being proactive, honoring yourself, investing in yourself, giving yourself the time, space that you need, but making sure that's not becoming your fortress, right? Your boundary that you're not going to move, right? Wherever we saw that Four of Earth, Four of Pentacles, making sure that it's not blocking you from the outside world. And we have skullcap. I love this. The relaxing herb. It's used to kind of help relax us, not to be redundant, but it is very good on it's a powerful nervine on our nervous system. It helps us calm, rebalance, restore. Ayurveda definitely recommends things like breathing techniques, pranayamic breathing, yoga asana, even just something inspirational, meditation, prayer, whatever helps you just kind of calm and soothe your soul. Valerian root is really good. Definitely take it in the evening time before bed because it is a sedative. It does induce sleep. But chamomile is also really good. Also induces sleep. But you can look into those things that can kind of give your nervous system that peace and calm, which I feel like is where you're kind of building up your strength, your stability in this dynamic this week. It's also helping you acknowledge places where some of this disconnect is not your responsibility. It's not necessarily on your plate. Yes, you're going to have to deal with something that is going to require your strength, but you already have that foundation built. And I feel like whatever's coming your way this week is helping you, it's helping you understand how far you've come, what you have built to date, and then where you can actually move forward. Diversifying yourself, your energy, connecting with people, situations, hopefully moving to this place where life is inspiring, right? It doesn't just have to be this negative wah over and over and over again. Maybe something's trying to get you to believe that, so you kind of stay put, so you stay limited. It doesn't have to be so practical. Yes, have a game plan. I think that's really important. But also leave flexibility. Leave rooms for surrender. Leave room for the magic, for the places that like maybe you don't expect something to pop up, but then it does. And it becomes that key that actually like gives relief and helps you move forward. And I feel like that's really what you're preparing yourself for this week. So again, driving home that point, really invest in yourself this week, your body, your mind, soul, your health, wellness, whatever goals you kind of set up for yourself 2026. It's really going to support you with whatever the hardship is that you are navigating moving forward. And it's going to give you clarity. It's going to give you clarity in regards to when you do end up diversifying your options, whether it's this week, whether it's in 6 months, it really doesn't matter. When you're ready to take on new people, new situations, you're going to have a lot of clarity on what is highest and best for you, especially coming from this situation dynamic where maybe you were engaging with people situations that just were a little bit messy or not necessarily in alignment with your vibration. So I really hope this helps. Thank you so much for your time, energy always. I super appreciate you, all the love, all the support to the channel. No, it blesses my heart, and I'm sending all the love and blessings your way. I hope you have a great week. Definitely drop comments below or shoot me an email. I love to connect with the community always. I super appreciate you, and I'm sending all the love your way.